Danilchenko to Scott. North obviously going to the left. Carey front spot. McGrath within. They've had some good duels over the years. McGrath, an old North boy, just like Liam Pickering, who's in the stands tonight. Could take McKernan. Tackled by Riccardi with a new short haircut was a beauty, and he's going to be rewarded with a free kick. Drew mentioned that Geelong beat North late in the season last year. After that, North hammered them in that final by 10 goals. So there'll be some memories one way and another. Riccardi gets another possession. Little short kick to Lynch, who's been a revelation in the first 2 games this year. Back turn, then steadies, delivers to the centre. Danger, bad kick. North with a chance. Danilchenko probably should have marked it. High tackle initially, but okay in the end, I guess. Quick kick away by Corrigan to centre half forward. Geelong has a couple of numbers. Colbert rides one well, gets a reasonable kick away under pressure. Burns clever. It was a terrific contest. He's going to get a free kick against Laidley.
They're really tough, Bruce. David Howlett signalled that Burns was being held by Laidley, and in those one-out contests, it certainly looks like it's 6-1, half a dozen the other, but I suppose in a sense it's good to pick one of those up early because it'll only get more messy during the game.
Yeah, tell Dennis Pagan that, John.
Yeah. Missed last week, didn't he, Burns, against Adelaide, but back tonight. Looks good. Cats have scored. Ronnie Burns gets the first goal of the semi-final.
Well, Bruce, I actually expected Geelong probably to get the start on North Melbourne. They haven't played for almost 2 weeks in this Ansett Cup competition, so they would be really chafing at the bit to get out there and get stuck into North Melbourne. They moved the ball in their normal haphazard fashion into the forward line on that occasion, a chip into the centre corridor before they actually bombed it forward, and good crumbing then by Colbert, and he's being picked up by Archer.
On the bench for the Cats, Adam Houlihan. Couch started there and Stephen Handley. We come back to the middle. Barnes goes Geelong's way. The Cats have opened well. Hocking a great pickup. Flicks the ball to Kilpatrick. The hand pass towards the 50. Chance for Signfoot, but he gave it away. Defensive kick by Martin Pike, the ex-Fitzroy player. Bouncing at centre wing. King Carey goes out wide with a hand pass. On the bounce to Rock. Rock's kick short of the 50. McKernan. Well, with Carey and McKernan dangerous again like they were last year. But chopping off in defence. Good mark to Corrigan. 19-year-old runner-up in the Demons' best and fairest as a supplementary player. To Graham. Centre corridor football by the Cats. Centre half back to centre half forward. Marking contest. Crash, down they go. Pike again for North. Thumps North back into attack. Spoiled by Longmire. It comes to the front. Chance here for North. This is Chandler, ex-Fitzroy. Gets the ball across to Scott. Very high ball. The big fellas are there. And McKernan marks right in front. 35 metres out.
Now, John Barnes has lined up on Corey McKernan, so he really is going to have to tighten up. Just a kick to the spot, and not a bad bit of shepherding then by Wayne Carey also.
The Twin Towers there, Carey and McKernan. So Corey McKernan to level the scores. No problem.
As we see Corey McKernan slot through a goal there. John Barnes, his role is to do the ruck work and then
drift down to the forward line, Billy, and to stop Corey McKernan doing that. Our team plan was to hit Barnesy all the time, make Corey McKernan come down the ground, pick Barnesy up down on our forward line and stop actually this. Yes. It works well as you see it later on in the game.
And you've had a good start to the game, starting on the bench.
Oh, well, I look well from there, don't I? Always a good view from there on the bench. It was a lot easier on the bench than it was playing on there.
Here we go.
Back in the centre, scores level, McKernan and Barnes. Stevens. With him was Cameron Roberts, who's playing up the ground a bit. We know he kicked 7 goals in a reserves game a couple of weeks ago for Geelong. Scott's quick kick. Ex-Cat, of course, played in grand finals there. Chandler off the ground. Bell working towards the line. Working with him, Corrigan. And the ball's out of play. Experienced umpires tonight running. David Howlett, Peter Carey, John Harvey, Liam Pickering down there. Any surprises in the matchup so far from your point of view?
No, look, I don't think so, Bruce. They're matched up pretty much the way you'd expect. I think Carey and McGrath will be a great duel.
And so important, Bell's little handball. Hocking's there, and also Sanderson. Who do you normally stand, Liam, when you're playing against North Melbourne?
Bruce, probably the last couple of times has been Matthew Armstrong or you know, someone like Stevens or a Rock or something like that. But I'm a bit surprised that Stevens usually takes Hocking. So we've got Chandler tanking interesting.
Okay, so there is one change there. A bit of a surprise. So Bell with the footy scores level here in the semi-final.
And what Chandler would have been instructed to do, he would have been instructed to work extremely hard when the ball gets turned over and North Melbourne have control.
Expected minimum tonight, 14 degrees, currently 16. High kick by Bell towards the 50. McGrath is there, crashed down by Longmire. Desperation at ground level, and that will be a ball up just outside the 50. No, you're holding the ball. And it's a free kick to Geelong.
Free kick
to North.
Diving on the ball, not disposing of it immediately, he was tackled.
Carey thumps for distance from 60 metres. Look at the distance he got, but he hooked the kick for behind. Wasn't doing much to get rid of it.
No, and held by the jumper. In that situation, if he's elected to dive on the ball or go to the ground with the ball, he must hit it out immediately.
It's a kick out from the lightship as Graham finds Corrigan, who goes short. Danger kick again. It took far too long to get to the man, but a good job there in the front by Lynch to hold his ground. At halfback, kicks into the centre. Barnes has got it. Such an athlete, Barnes. Back to Lynch. Lynch through the centre to centre wing. Good stretch taken by Cameron Roberts. This is his first match at this level for Geelong. One of 4 rookies in the team as far as AFL home and away footy is concerned. The kick by Melbourne, another one of the rookies to half forward, out of play.
Looks a good size, Cameron Roberts.
It's Paul Couch, Brownlow medalist, best and fairest of the club on a number of occasions there. The sports bet prices from the national sports bet: Geelong $2.70, North Melbourne $1.40. So North Melbourne are 5-2 on and favourite. Anderson from the centre. Burns runs him down. High ball to centre half forward. McKinnon had a bit of it, but Scholl had more of it in the front spot, and Scholl's away for North.
Had a couple of options for the hand pass. Went to the man who gave it to him. Kick by Anderson. Carey uses his body on Hargraves and takes the mark on McGrath. McGrath just nudged underneath the ball. The umpire ruling there were no hands in that. All body work. And the ball within a legal distance. A legal distance.
Tim McGrath obviously upset about that, but I think Wayne Carey just did the bare maximum he could have done without being penalised. It was a little bit early. It was a bit of a nudge. He doesn't have to use his hands. He can still push with his body, but Johnny Harvey deemed it was okay.
Right in front, 35 metres out, and Carey has missed. So he's opened the match with 2 behinds, Wayne Carey. One from a long way out and one which he certainly should have kicked.
He'd be disappointed with that effort too, a player of his calibre. And really, when you're in that range and you are a forward, then you should really put 6 points on the board.
Graham, fantastic kick of the footy, as we know. Barnes, this is where it's handy, isn't it, when a Geelong player can take a mark.
It's been given a free kick for shepherding to Corey McKernan, Bruce.
Well, that's a blow because Geelong would have been deep in attack with 2 kicks. Now McKernan thumps North back. Carey the target. At the back, Longmire playing up forward. Sanderson's quick kick. North's tackling is so fast and effective. And Geelong have been caught a couple of times early in this match. Yes, Kilpatrick had a corky against Adelaide, but benefited from the fact that it's been almost a 2-week break between Geelong's quarter-final and the semi tonight.
Kilpatrick's running with Stevens too. The matchups are pretty right, I think, at this stage. McKinnon on Scholl, that's a big ask for him.
Barnes down below, went through Chandler. Lynch gets it from Hocking. Well done, Chandler. Keeps it in the area, out of play. Just a kid, Chandler. What an opportunity to go from Fitzroy to a team who looks like being a power in the competition for many years to come.
28 games in 2 seasons for Fitzroy. Carey in ruck against John Barnes. It comes down underfoot and cleared out of defence. High ball towards centre wing. McKernan claimed it was a mark, didn't get first touch. Now the ball's held to him, it's going to be a baller. Centre wing. Comes down to Rott, finds Bell. Kick by Bell to centre half forward. Jostling going on. Carey in it again with McGrath. McGrath does well this time. Danilchenko dashes back for North. Gets inside the 50. Centering kick is good. Longmire a chance. Got the spoil. Mansfield for the Cats. They're under pressure, but they burst out of it. Riccardi off the left boot. Beautiful disposal. And the mark is taken by Sanderson out, by Milburn out wide. Short pass, and he finds Colvin.
Centre wing. Called to play on now. Takes a while. Kicks the centre half. Or lazy kick. Not good enough, really. Martin in the front spot. Handball by Robbins. Didn't go far. Rock to King. Paul's got him. They're going to have to watch King because he's such a rebound player. Robbins' handball. Missed its mark. Chandler's quick kick. A lot of pressure out there. Geelong now with the opportunity. Kilpatrick had it smothered bravely by Anderson. McKernan got rid of it. Quick kick by Kilpatrick's a beauty. Milburn at 50. Little handball. If it sits, Riccardi can go. No, went the handball to Hall. He's gone. Play on called. Riccardi off the ground. Longmire. Little handball was okay. Perfectly weighted. Rock got rid of it in a hurry. Bill paddled it out. Off the ground by North. Lynch, 55 metres out. Kicks a long ball. Barnes has got it. No, he hasn't. It's taken by Pike and he's away.
Magnificent leap by Johnny Barnes. Couldn't quite hold it. Out to Laidley. Short pass out of defence to Anthony Stevens. He dashes round Robbins. Across half-back go North. Ball bouncing in no man's land. Had chance here for the Cats. Sanderson dashes onto it. Long kick from 50. It's a chance on the goal line, but rushed through for a behind. Dennis Pagan.
Thank you.
North won the seniors and the reserves, so they're beautifully set up for the start of 1997 and see if they can win in the semi-final of the Ansett Cup. The short pass in finds Pike. Now Laidley running off him. Straight up the centre of the ground. Barnes gets back there just with one hand though. Crumbs to Hocking. Kick knocked down beautifully. Chandler's opened the game magnificently. His kick inside centre half forward, one-on-one. It's punched to the front. Well done, Marty McKinnon. Follows up beautifully and gets the ball close to the boundary line.
Chandler's got it. Here's some good play by McKinnon and Mansfield at the back a moment ago. Back to McKernan. McGrath, good effort. He had to stretch to make it. Danilchenko and a Scholl. Danilchenko's kick is a behind. He and Scholl just getting in one another's road a bit, putting him off balance. And North 1-3, Geelong 1-1. Gary Ayres, what a champion player. Couple of Norm Smith medals, the best and fairest at Hawthorn, involved in that golden era at the club. As we see from the lightship again, this shot, North zoning up, Graham going long with the kick, Barnes the target, Carey with him, that's a good match. Carey punches it to ground. Scott roved it well, broke one tackle, then kicks to full forward. Crocker couldn't quite get to it, and Riccardi drops back to take the mark.
Peter Riccardi's done a lot of things deep in defence tonight for the Cats. They probably need some goal scoring out of him. McGrath still back deep towards the back pocket. Goes towards the outer wing. Colbert's found himself some space, and he's got Mansfield with him. The ball going end on end. Kept in by Lee Colbert. A centering kick. Hocking is there, and here's Roberts, the South Australian recruit, dropped it. Martin is his man. He dispossesses Martin and tackles again. Well done, Roberts. Should have taken the mark in the first place, though. North back into attack. McKernan on his chest. Not far off centre, 40 metres out. Corey McKernan going short, unmarked Danilchenko, and he can waltz in and kick a goal. Cats kicked the first goal, but North have kicked the next two.
And you won't see a better example of a side being caught offside than that one we've just seen. Geelong moved the ball forward. They weren't able to get it past half forward. There was a turnover. North Melbourne got it back onto their boot very, very quickly, and then they made them pay. Corey McKernan on his own, and Danilchenko also down there on his own. Sanderson, his direct opponent, who'd moved up the field to make the play.
2-3 to 1-1. McKernan dangerous up forward now in the ruck, does it beautifully. Cut off though by Corrigan. Lynch had a fumble. Anderson took it. Then Bell's quick kick to full forward. Longmire stretching. Graham with him. He'll be happy to see it go out and runs out. Mark Doran from 7 Nightly News has just come up with the news on Ablett. He didn't feel the knee. He felt confident after the match. His next move depends on how he pulls up over the next couple of days. Mark said he looked surprisingly fresh in the rooms, moved freely, happy as he left the rooms. So Gary Ablett, 5 goals, 7 today. 3 of them were touched on the line. He's pulled up fine.
From a boundary throw in. Big lead by Barnes, but he didn't get the ball. It's in the goal square now for North. Pressure from Mansfield. Slides the hand pass away, and a hurried kick out of defence, Corrigan. In he goes to Ronnie Burns, who dropped it. Give North a chance. Laidley floats the hand pass over the top. North players getting free. Stevens doesn't go for goal. He centres. The kick drops short. McGrath fumbles. Carey off the ground. Graham gets back, and Carey's kick scores his 3rd behind.
That's another scoring opportunity set up then by North Melbourne after they chose the wrong option out there on the half-back flank, trying to do one too many handballs.
Liam, Cats having a few problems after a bright start. Both McKernan and Carey getting a fair bit of the footy.
Yeah, we've got to certainly tighten up on those 2 guys. They're getting too much room at the moment, especially McKernan.
That's Bitterscombe at half-back. Were both those players on Gary Ayres' mind tonight going into the match, Liam?
Oh, I think so, Bruce. I mean, they're 2 champion players, obviously, so I think yeah, that'd be the first 2 guys you'd look at when you're playing North.
Lynch has kicked to half-forward. Against the flow was Roberts. He might get a second chance. Martin's onto him in a hurry with King. And just finally, Liam was out of play. That news on Gary Ablett was good.
Yeah, look, that was a terrific effort tonight. You know, he hasn't played much footy this year at all. He hasn't done much of training, so to get 5 goals was a great effort. Just
see Corrigan there in the dugout, the youngster from Melbourne.
Looks like a corky just above the knee.
Throw in the forward pocket. Geelong need to make something out of this. Couldn't be in better hands than with Gary Hocking. Back he goes to Kilpatrick. 55 metres out. Kick smothered by Stevens. Back to Hocking. Centering kick. And defensive mark taken by Rock. So many premiership players in this North team. Only missing 3 from last year's 21 that won the flag in September. Over his head, Pike goes straight to the opposition. A hand pass comes out to McKinnon. Drives it long to the goal square. North have the numbers. Archer brings it down. It's hacked out of the pack. Offline for a behind.
And Geelong really haven't been able to construct anything in their forward line at this stage. They really are kicking and just hoping. I still think that many of their players are hanging on too much of the ball about half forward and across the centre line.
What about Corrigan, Russell?
Yes, Bruce, look, Timmy was right. He's a corking above his left knee, and he's got it stretched up so that to avoid any sort of cramping. So he's got to try and keep it moving and obviously avoid any the blood spreading throughout the leg.
Rock had it ripped away after McKernan's good mark. Hocking, strong kick. Robbins had a fair bit of it. Burns clever normally. Laidley's played him beautifully though. Didn't commit, stood his ground and forced him into error with help from Mickey Martin. They'll like that, North.
Great play there by Laidley. Watch the hips, he didn't watch the ball. Burns was trying to sell him a dummy, but he just kept watching his hips.
In the back pocket, Laidley's kick to half-back. Crocker a target. McKinnon had a couple of goes. Quick hands there by Milburn to Kilpatrick. Another smother for North Melbourne. There's been a few. Oh, don't you love it when Archer does that? Rides one and then belts it, unfortunately, straight to the opposition. But he's a straight-ahead player, Archer. So strong on the ball. Mansfield out wide. Wants Hall. Pike's with him. Taken by Scott on the up to Laidley. Laidley in a bit of trouble, but kept his cool. Goes to Scott. Scott's kicked back to centre wing. Scholl couldn't quite take it. Chance came for McKinnon. Punch forward by Chandler, doing some good things. To half forward. Bitterscombe just... Barnes, I should say, did a good job to get rid of his man. Handball over the top by Roberts. Hocking on. Maybe fortuitously. We'll give it to him. Kilpatrick on. To Bitterscombe to full forward. Good kick. Hall ran into it and took the mark. Well, a great setup by Geelong there.
That was, they used the ball extremely well going down the ground, but the impressive thing then from Bitterscombe was that he actually chose the right option. Burns had a couple of yards then on Blakey, and he could have let go of the ball then, but he waited, and Hall, who worked hard from centre half forward, ran down into the space. Intelligent use of the ball.
Shouldn't miss. 20 metres out. The Cats have got their second.
Pretty scrappy game so far, Paul, but that'd be due to the pressure.
Yeah, pressure of the final, Billy, and all sides having a crack early. After about the second or third quarter, the game opens up and you'll see a lot better skill used by both sides. Interesting move there. Geelong played Carl Steinford on David King in the back pocket.
Actually tagging
him in the back pocket, and he did a great job, and I think King had very little influence. King's renowned for a very good running half-back and back pocket for North Melbourne, and sets up a lot of play through the forward line and through the corridor there, and he did a great job, Carl Stiford.
And your man, Corey McKernan's going right.
Yes, worked well, that tactic, didn't it, Bill?
Back to the action.
Ball comes underfoot. It's socket forward, North Way. It goes to Danilchenko. Hurried kick across the ground. Streaming out after this is Crocker. Overruns the ball with Mansfield. Sets a path here for Scholl. He's ridden into the ground in the back, said the crowd. No, said the umpire. Socket away by Graham. Close to the boundary line, a fight for the ball. Geelong would be happy to see it out. But umpire Carey comes in and is going to ball it up. Great to see John Longmire back, having missed all of last season with that knee reconstruction, and who can forget the tearful scenes after the grand final when he sort of celebrated with his teammates but knew he'd missed out on something big. Now the ball's out of play, a throw in.
Mark Roberts there on the screen, and I'm sure he'll get a run at some stage before half-time. They do like to put him onto the field, and he's a difficult player to match up because he has wonderful endurance. Carey
came the highest. Chandler's been a very good player. The hand pass to Danilchenko. Snap for goal across the face. The defence keeps it out. Longmire tries to keep it in and does so. Play on! Rock. Is he over the ball? Crowd thought so. Play on rules the umpire. Hocking. It's flipped out. Could be dangerous for Geelong. Oysters Kilpatrick goes down without it. Shoulder hand pass back. Anderson's kick for goal. Carey on the line. Well, those twin towers are causing some problems, aren't they, for Geelong's defence?
Well, North Melbourne, they just keep shoveling the ball forward, and eventually something will happen.
Carey's kicked three behinds. He's out at a pretty extreme angle here. No, close up! But very close in. Man on the mark right alongside the goalpost. He gets a goal.
There's more a line, but I reckon he stood his ground. I reckon Barnes plays a bit.
I'd like to see that again, but from where John Barnes was, you would have expected that he would have been able to stand his ground and actually take this, Mark. I wonder whether or not, in fact, Wayne Carey may have given him just a bit of a nudge. Yes, well, he did take a tumble. He really should have stood his ground in that situation and at least spoiled the ball, got a hand to it, but just actually going to the ground like that.
Derek Hall might be coming off for the blood rule here. Allison's getting ready to come on for North.
He must have shaved his hand a little bit too close, I think.
In place of Crocker. That is funny, actually, Tim. But looks just a nick, doesn't it? I think he'll be back in a hurry after he kicked that goal. And coming on for North, as I said, Allison and Handley coming on for the Cats. So North by 8 points. Been a good start. 3-4-2-2. Umpires were saying when they ran out tonight that it was quite slippery out there. Hard to keep your feet. Barnesy caught unawares almost. It looked Hocking, well done. Through the centre, little give okay. Kilpatrick, long ball to fall forward. Handley's just come on the ground and he's got it. Pike seemed to either be disorientated or...
He slipped.
Slipped, yep.
Yeah. Now, I think that's where Pike will probably be worried. I think if I was Gary Ayres, I'd be instructing whoever Pike picked up to actually take him right back towards the goal line, because I think he's a far more comfortable player up the field.
Handley from point-blank range, kicks accurately. And that's the case for the Cats at the moment, isn't it? They're scoring when they go forward. Kicking straight, and they're within 2 points.
Well, once again, it showed you the effectiveness of actually getting a ball out of the centre square, and Gary Hocking, who's been a wonderful performer at that, and the advantage of a long kick too there. Glenn Kilpatrick putting the ball straight on his boot and kicking to the spot about 20 metres out from the top of the square, and really that is efficient football.
North by just 2 points, and the Cats just keep hitting back. Careful. Stevens out of the centre circle. Longmire at ground level. Well done by Graham. Very well done. Gets it out towards centre wing. Roberts, number 11. Takes the ball out of play. Cameron Roberts from North Adelaide. Came to the Cats in the deal with Shane Brewer that saw Brewer go to Port Power. 18 years of age and a bit of height, 194 centimetres. Boundary throw in. Danilchenko in ruck wins. Kilpatrick flips the ball towards the boundary line and gets it out for another throw in.
And North Melbourne will be happy if they can get the ball into their forward line quickly. They've got a mismatch there. Corey McKernan's been matched up there by Sanderson.
Danilchenko in ruck. Bell well roved. Little left footer bounces up towards the 50. McGrath gets it up the ground. Allison sockers. Gets it inside the 50. Follows up. Might get it back. Carey dives as he gives the hand pass to Anderson. Anderson turns. Not much distance in the kick. 40 metres out. Still a chance for North though. Beautiful roving by Bell once more. Left footer to the goal square. Shaw off the ground. Goal! Oh, just across the face for a behind.
Looked home off the boot, didn't it? And got a cruel bounce in the end. 3-2-3-5. Graham short to the back pocket. To Milburn. Likely type. 19 years of age. Sanderson. At his third club, but doing well at Geelong. Back to Milburn, to Sanderson again and again. I reckon 6 to 7 smothers for North in the opening turn. That one from Stevenson. But Sanderson and Milburn combine again to get the ball to centre wing. McKernan. Colbert, free kick, going to Geelong. Colbert's got it, moves it quickly. McKernan hurt.
He's hurt.
Yes, watch for McKernan behind play. He's in a bit of trouble, I think. Hocking on the left, quick kick to the pocket. Burns is there. His little give. Oh, missed by Barnes. Should have done better, John. Took his hands away from the foot in a hurry. Archer's kick back to Hocking. Where's McKernan, guys? He's up on his feet.
He's okay.
Hocking squares it to McGrath. McGrath about 80 metres from goal. Kicks the ball long to full forward. Handley's big fly. King's away. Across the ground. Pike the target. But the spoil is effective at the back by Roberts, who's settled in pretty well. He made one mistake with a mark up the back, but he has settled in okay. Here's McKernan again.
Yes, I think he just came down and probably winded himself on that occasion, Corey McKernan, but I'm sure Dennis Pagan's heart was in his mouth.
Chance here for the Cats. Bell, right footer this time. 60 metres out from goal. Burns didn't quite have it. Well done, Robbins to Hocking. Beautiful hand pass. Biddiscombe a shot for goal. Sensational football. The Cats in front. Geelong by 3 points, 4-2 to 3-5.
And that is as effective a handball as you're going to see. Beautiful bit of work this by Gary Hocking. Hits the ball and then gives Biddiscombe space and time with that handball. Beautifully directed and nice finishing.
So a couple of good kicks by Biddiscombe. One to Hall and one for a goal. Hocking getting his hands on it a fair bit. Geelong in front. 4-2-3-5. McKernan beating Barnes in the centre. Long kick. Carey underneath it. McGrath with him. Gee, he was manhandled the king there. Basically, you could say there'll be no free kicks paid at centre-half forward tonight after what we've seen in the opening quarter. Bell's kicked to full forward. Shoal. McKinnon with him. That's a good matchup. Good handball to Longmire. Just a hook by Longmire and miss. I think Anderson the handball, and it's a behind. Do you get to a situation, sorry, Tim, with John, where if you don't pay the first one, you find it hard to pay anything after that?
You can certainly slip into that, Bruce, but just in relation to those infringements that appear like infringements at centre-half forward, if the umpires aren't sure who the instigator is, then experienced blokes will normally just call play on.
John, I reckon it's an occasion where the umpires miss them most of the time. Backmen grab hold of the hands and they pull the hands away like they did on that occasion. And umpires tend to miss that decision 3 out of 4 times.
Unless you actually see the backman do it, you can't assume that because he's a defender he's going to infringe. You must see.
Well, it's where the ball is, John. You'd think they'd be able to see it.
Milburn's kick from the back pocket, very disappointing. The crowd thought it was out of bounds on the full. The umpire ruled it was touched in the field of play and was going to throw it in. Comes down to Robbins. Hand pass intercepted by Danilchenko. Carey's hand pass out wide. Scott near the boundary line. Hooks it back inside 50. Danilchenko again. The siren for quarter time. North Melbourne hot favourites, but they trail at quarter time by 2 points.
Rocks handball to Longmire. Caught. Took a fair while to get rid of it. Handley's got hold of it. Good give. Hocking important. Belts a handball out to Bitterscombe, who can kick a left foot goal. It's there. What a start. Hocking and Bitterscombe. We've mentioned those a couple of times in their more recent goals.
And once again, a magnificent handball then by Gary Hocking. Wonderfully placed in front of Bitterscombe's path. He didn't have to change strike whatsoever. Great pressure in the central part of the ground there. Handley getting the handball. Hocking, who just kept running out of the midfield. And there, a beautifully placed and weighted handball, and Bitterscombe finishing it off on his non-preferred side.
Interesting, at the start of this quarter, Martin Pike has gone to the bench. He was the leading possession winner in the first quarter with 7. Well, best and fairest at Fitzroy, but lessons are harder to learn at North Melbourne. Inside 50. Wayne Carey has goals in front of him, but once again he sprays it. His black mark in his game tonight has been inaccuracy. 1 goal 4.
And an interesting matchup there in the goal square too. Mansfield and Allison. I think Dennis Page would be pretty happy to have Mansfield picking up Allison. It'd be just interesting to see whether or not Allison can actually score a couple of goals. I'm sure he'll try and take Mansfield up the field and then turn him back around again.
Virtually no breeze tonight. Still night in Melbourne. Perfect for football. Graham just short of the 50 out wide. Bitterscombe takes the defensive mark. He's kicked a couple of goals. Here's McGrath. Still at right half-back flank. Kick by McGrath. He's put it into a dangerous spot, and look who's got it. Wayne Carey. Carey pops it up high. Crocker is there. Needs to fly. Graham. Allison just gets it over the head of the defender, and it bounces through for a minor score. Fancy Brett Allison starting on the bench. Last time they met, he kicked 7 goals in a final to bury them by 10 goals.
11 shots to 7. Rock clear there, wasn't he? 10 metres away from Allison with nobody around him. Graham just to himself, and then belts it as far as he can to half-back. North have got numbers. Carey's there. Comes to ground. Scott was held on to for a while. Bitterscombe on Carey. Well done. Got his foot there. Hocking held it up beautifully. Out wide to McGrath. McGrath away to centre wing.